Hi YouTube, this is Felicia and you are looking at my personal, completed, worked in and worked through Christmas journal. And you guys, it is so thick. It's full of just goodness. This is an impromptu video and I just want to quickly share as a journaler some tips with you all that you may or may not know concerning using this type of wire. I forget what these are called, but wire bound wires here, in addition to some other tips when it comes to just journaling in general. But first, let's adore the cover. It's so beautiful. Jesus, his birth. I refer to Jesus's birth, the nativity, as his birth. And one tip I want to share with you all: use your ribbon to cover the covers of your journals or to cover a page. Ribbon is a form of fabric, and you can use any type of your ribbon to cover your journal. You are looking at a ribbon. This is strips of, I think, 2.5-inch ribbon or 3-inch ribbon. The pieces here, that's dyed. I made this rust dyed fabric and I cut it into narrow strips, and that divides the pieces of the ribbon. So I have this ribbon covering both sides of my journal. It's thrifted ribbon. When I found it last summer, I knew I would use it for my Christmas journal, and I did. And I love that. You can't even tell it's ribbon, right? But it is. Okay, so that's one tip. And then also, a lot of us like to use scramble pieces. Well, I use the scramble pieces right on the front and back of my journal cover. Now, these are thrifted scramble pieces. They're not vintage. I do have a collection of vintage ones, but I use the thrifted ones to spell out Jesus and then his birth. And on the back, I played a little bit of scramble, making names and titles that pertain to his birth. King, because a king was born. Angels, who pronounced his birth. And peace, they said. And then boy and savior, I do have to go back and add S and an I. And then rejoice, because the angels, they said rejoice. You know, he's born. And joy there, because he brought joy to the world. So I thought that, you know, it's unique to use the scramble pieces in this way on a journal. Okay, now, oh, that was a loud bird. So loud, like an eagle back there. Okay, so now let me flip through, let's see, quickly flip through. I'm looking for, you know what, let's do it like this. Well, let's turn right here. One reason why I enjoy and I like this style of binding is because you can basically use the full size of your papers. You don't compromise the size, so you don't lose any of it. For example, this is a full-size envelope, one of those long envelopes. And not only am using this envelope as a page, but also as a pocket. And I can use the full size of it. And I love adding envelopes. That's one tip for you all. And I know many of you are doing that. But if you're new to journaling, or perhaps you're not doing it, I think it's very important to have spaces to be able to tuck and hide things in. So another tip is to use envelopes, but also for my journals, I find that I like to add a pocket on the front cover, and then there's a pocket on the back cover, and I have a similar pocket right in the middle, because I'm always looking for spaces to tuck. And I like having like this full-size envelope because you can put in larger items. Let's just pull this out. I know Christmas is over, and by the way, I think it was yesterday Hallmark ended their Christmas movies, though they do play Christmas movies all year, but they just played them back to back for the last several months. Well, this is their holiday channel lineup. I can tuck that right in this envelope. Why? Because I have it and I have access to the full size of it. Yay! So that's one tip. And then another tip, another reason why I like this type of binding, and I do work with other other types of binding, but for the last 6 months or so, all of my journals have been with this particular type of binding, which I've been using over 20 years. I used to have a journal making business back in '06 and '07 and '08, and I'm using my industrial size binding, the one that I bought back then. But if you have the cinch, which I do have and never really used, that works too. Now I'm looking for, in this journal, well, here's an example here. But this is the holiday guide from Simon Says Stamp. Well, with this particular binding, you can add it right to your journal and use it as pages, or just use it as a reference to what's available in today's time. So I like this binding for this particular purpose. I also added Hallmark's holiday, oh, you guys, it's in here somewhere. Let's find it. I have Hallmarks in here, and then I really want to show Joann's. Oh my goodness, where is it? Okay, here's Joann's, right? I have their whole mailer. The whole mailer is in this journal. And I love, love, love that. I am stuck in yesteryear, and how I wish I kept the mailers and the ads back from '04 when I first started crafting and so on, additional years. But for the last several years, I make sure I keep them. And one way to preserve them is to add them in your journals. Thankfully, Joann's still sends out these mailers. I don't think Hobby Lobby have any ads anymore, or Michael's, but Joann's, they still have them. And some of the pages I used to journal on, but then some pages I kept as is, because I want to go back, Lord willing, 10 years from now and see how the sewing machines looked. And I can look through here and see, oh, you know what? I bought that, which I can for this ad, because some of these items, like I bought a candle. I didn't buy that one, but I bought a candle. I don't want to cover that up. There is a page in here. Where is it? That has some crafty items that I bought, and I can't find it right now, but you get the, you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. So this type of binding affords that possibility of doing that. And then also, let's see here. Now I have to find it. A page where I used cupcake toppers. Here's one right here. Okay, this right here, this Christmas tree, it's a plastic cupcake or cake topper. One way you can use them is use them like I used it here. I made a little collage. Oh, and this one has another tip for you too. But anyway, you can use a cupcake topper as like a pull-out, because this would go down pretty deep here and perhaps get lost. But if I have a cupcake topper extending out, I could use it to pull it out. Oh, I love that. Pull it out. Let me share this real fast. If you have a Joann's, or I'm sure different places might have something like this, but last year, Joann's came out with these cupcake treat toppers for almost every season last year, and I picked up the ones I saw. They're perfect. They're thin, nice designs, and they're perfect to use all year. And for this example that I'm sharing right now. Now, the other example I want to share, and throughout my entire journal, I did this. I printed out and made journaling cards or pockets out of my printout of everything I watched on TV, for the most part, all the holiday movies and the holiday music I listened to. You see here, Whitney Houston. Well, I played her album. And on the back, I journaled about probably when I played her album. I know I was driving to a Walmart and I ran errands that day. But that's a tip for you all. Create your own, should I say ephemera, right? Create your own journaling cards, your own pockets. Let me show some more examples right here. Oh, I love, 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 love this one here. My favorite holiday commercial was an Amazon commercial. And you see here that I printed out part of the commercial. Well, let me just talk about this page for a second because I love it. Oh my goodness, this man has the most beautiful voice ever. I love what this commercial represents. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. If you missed that commercial, you can go to YouTube and look for it. But basically, it's a commercial about giving and caring. And this woman here, she works at this theater. And this guy, he's a janitor at the theater. She hears him humming. Well, she goes to Amazon. She buys him this blazer. And then you could see in the commercial, you don't see everything. Some things is implied. It changes scenes, but she's collecting the package from the Amazon delivery and she opens it up and then he puts it on and he steps out to this stage. And there's no audience, I don't think, but the lights come on and he opens up his mouth and starts to sing these 9 words. Oh, I want to see him in concert. He has such a beautiful voice, but I printed out the commercial. A picture really is 1,000 words. It's so much more when you see it and then you journal. I added journaling here, but I created this myself. And all you need is a printer and you need ink and you need paper. So throughout my entire journal, that's exactly what I did. I watched this movie, A Christmas Serenade. I probably have at least 15 of journaling cards that just pertain to all the movies that I saw. A Christmas for Mary. So some are pockets and then I added journaling here and then some are tags, A Christmas Carol here. So I love that. I'm putting to use my paper, my ink, because I'm on that HP ink subscription program and I never use up all the ink I pay for. I pay a nominal fee every month, but I never use it all up. Now though, with the printing I'm doing, I want to use a lot more of it. And I love that I can look at this and know exactly what it's about and it jars my memory. So hopefully that's a good tip for you all. Fine. Another page. Now this page here, I love, love, love. Very simple. Get out your die cuts and create a scene. You don't have to only use your die cuts to make tags or to make cards, but you can use them in your journaling. And that's exactly what I did here. I used a collection. Oh, I can't think of the company's name, but you know the story, right? You have the nativity, Jesus in a manger. You have the 3 wise men. You have the camels. You have the animals. This tells the story all by itself. And I love it. Love, love, love this here. So that's another tip for you. And I'm going to turn back to this page here. Now, many of you do this. I'm sure that, you do it. But let me go back to the page where I was just at. You guys, this journal is it's so thick. But use your gift bags as pockets. And you can see I did that here. And I did it again. Actually, let me find the page here. This is a gift bag that came from Bath and Body Works. And you see my these are my purchases here. I got 8 candles last season. And then there's the little bag there. Well, I used 1/2 of that bag because it's printed on both sides. Used 1/2 here on this page. And then also on this page, well, you see my candles there, but you see one of the treat toppers there. You see how it sticks out? So it adds creativity and interest to your page, but it also serves the purpose. I can just pull out the tab and voila, pictures of candles that I purchased last season. And also at Bath and Body Works, For every candle you purchased, you could have gotten a tag and also a bow with their signature brand on it. I love that. Okay, here we go. I couldn't see it. I thought I saw it, but then I didn't know if I saw it. But anyway, I like with this binding. Look, my little candy cane, it's still there. I like that you can add something like a candy cane, or perhaps even a pen might work, but it stays tucked in right there. And I love that. Another advantage of using this type of binding. And also, if you're like me, you have this binding in many different colors. But if you have white, you can spray paint it any color you like. And I like also that the pages, they do lay flat. Now, my journal is rather thick, but it was easier for me before it got this thick, easier to work in this journal no matter where it was. It could have been the back, and that's because of this particular type of binding. Another tip for you all, and throughout this journal, I really should do, and I think years ago I probably did a video, but I like to use ribbon in many different ways, not just to make bows out of it, but design ribbon and ribbon that has different words and phrases on it. I cut it up and I use, this one states, fa la 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 la. On another page from the same ribbon, okay, here, Season's Greetings. That came from a ribbon spool. And then also you can die cut the shapes out of the ribbon, which made me think of another tip for you all when it comes to paper napkins, which many of us love. We love our paper napkins. But in addition to decoupaging with your paper napkins, or even just gluing them down as a background on a page, cut out the designs. This here is was cut out from a paper napkin that came from Joann's last season. Isn't that cute? You can't even tell, right? But yeah, that's an actual paper napkin that I cut out and became a die cut. You could turn it into a sticker. So I love that. Okay, let me quickly just flip through some pages. I mean, I can go on and on about tips, but I was trying to only bring tips in this video. And I don't think any of them are necessarily unique, but I just don't, like, these are magazine clippings, and we all know about that. And then, you know, if you don't know, you could use cards. This binding is really good for using your cards. I used a lot of cards in this journal. This is a card here. This is a card. And once again, you can use the full size of the card. Let's see. I just have a lot of cards. The first page is a card. And this is more ribbon that came from one spool, Joy to the World and Christmas. That's just perfect to use that, something like that, and junk journaling. If you come across these money, the old school money cards, something like this. Okay, I didn't journal. I have 2 of these in here, and I journaled on one, but I didn't journal on this one. These were money holder cards. They're perfect for journaling, or you can collage on them. And I love these because you can hide your journaling. So if you come across those at a thrift store, those are cool to use in your journaling. Let's see here. Any other? Hopefully just by looking at some pages, you can get some inspiration. This page here is titled Shalom. I studied the name Shalom, which means peace. I studied that for Christmas. Here's a card. This is a ribbon here. I just cut. A lot of times you can find ribbon that has repeat patterns. just cut off one of the patterns and you could use it as a tab. Of course, you can use it in many different ways, but there's many different ways to use ribbon. All right, and that's going to do it. Well, I'll mention this. This is vintage here. I love this. And you don't have to open up your vintage or your new products. You can leave it in the packaging and put it in your journal as is. Give yourself permission to do that. This is still, to me, a design element. It's visual. I can look at it. I don't have to open it up to enjoy it. I probably will eventually open up this one because I have several. I found several. But even if I didn't, I could leave it in its new state. Okay, that's going to do it for this video. That's all I can think about right now. This is more ribbon here. Well, here you can see, well, if you can't see, let me explain it. This deer came from a 50-yard roll of ribbon. And I get my ribbon from Costco and Sam's Club. But I just cut off one design. It makes a nice visual element on a page. And this back here is ribbon too. Use your ribbon like you're using paper. I just took a strip of it, glued it down, and look how beautiful that is. A lot of times, the designs you can't find in scrapbooking paper, you can find in ribbon. Now, let me share this page right here, and then I'm going to close this video out because this is so fun. I was inspired to do this page from a channel, and I'm going to have, I think her name is Jay, and her channel name is something like JJ Joy, or, okay, I'll have it flashing below, but she shared a journal called Eating Ephemera. I know the name is like kind of funny, Eating Ephemera. It was a Christmas journal. One of my favorite videos to watch last holiday season. And I added that video to a playlist, a Christmas playlist. So I look forward watching that video. The Lord say the same this Christmas, right? For 25 rather. But anyway, it was a journal filled with, her journal was kind of like this. It looked different than mine's. Mine's was inspired by hers. And you can be inspired by someone and your inspired work may not look nothing like theirs, but you could still be inspired. So mine's may not look like hers, but it was inspired by her journal that was filled with ephemera. And what really this page reminds me of her in particular because of this tinsel here. She used a lot of that in her journal. So it got me to thinking, I know I have some of that with all my hoards of ribbon. And it didn't take me long. And I found some of it. And it's very, very, very thin. This stuff is hard to find though. I went out to Joann's. I didn't see any. I didn't see any at Michael's. And I got mine from Tuesday Morning years ago when they used to have their yarn. I got a new pack, let's see, or a pack that has my dog Oink. He chewed up a lot of my, he got to it. He got in one of my bins out in my dirty, dingy, dusty garage and got to it and chewed up a lot of my yarn like this. But I pulled mine off of a fiber pack like this that has just a little bit of tinsel on it. And I was like, yay, I got a little bit of it. But I am on the hunt looking for it now because of her video that I watched, y'all, probably 20 times, literally. I would just put it on loop and I played it over a span of so many days, but I would play it multiple times a day too. I just fell in love with it. But I hadn't collaged like this in this journal. I have collaged like this before in my other journals, but I hadn't did it recently. So watching her video, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to at least do a page. I would love to do a whole journal like this. This was so fun. And I have one of the cards I printed out. This is my all-time favorite holiday movie, Baking Christmas, that Oprah put out on her channel. and it tucks just like that. But you could just look at this. I could just look at it. I love all the different elements. I'm going to link her video below, and it's still kind of Christmas-like. You can go and watch that video. Oh, I hope she does one for Valentine. I definitely want to do some pages, some spreads like this for Valentine. Just super, super fun. But this tinsel, I'll always remember her because she used this tinsel throughout her whole entire journal and had me, oh, my ears just plugged up and now ringing in my ears. What is that about? That's weird. Okay, but anyway, you guys, a beautiful page. Love, love, love this. One of my favorite pages in this whole entire journal. If you have enjoyed these tips, why not like this video? Why not share some tips below too that you incorporate in your journals? Why not share this video? And I do want to thank you all for watching. Blessings.